it could still be that the way we feel to act and the way the stories are told has evolved to cope with emergent phenomena. So in 1,000 years, these AIs and the silicon-based life looks back and remembers the human race as the race that the biological life that created them, and they are happy for that, but we are not around anymore. That there is a difference between what's true today as in facts and what's true over time. So just a few days ago, Jordan B. Peterson and Sam Harris, moderated by Brett Weinstein, finally met. And I wish I were there, but I live in Sweden, and it was just felt that it was too far away to go there. But I've been following Sam Harris for a few years, and I don't remember exactly, but I think I discovered Peterson like 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago. I'm not really sure, but during those years, they remain being interesting, and the feeling of something going on is really strong, and what you can see on the web, I'm not alone thinking that. And it's just very, very interesting, and very, very, I think the word is, it's very meaningful to listen to these long talks and try to understand why they are fascinating, and why the thing, especially these two people, stand for and argue for and try to put forth as claims of truth is interesting and important. And I really, really wanted to make this video about how important it is, I think, that the ideas and the world, the image of the world, or the model of the world that these two men stand for and come from and take as a base for their view of what's true and what's false. These two views must meet, I think. That's how I feel. It must be a way of finding the common ground here. And the way I think could be a way forward is that both sides have to realize that there is a third position where they can keep they can keep the core truth values and then add even more. And the way to get there is to identify the blind spots, I think. And for one thing, Sam Harris, for example, he stands for this firm belief that facts and rational thinking is the core, and defining a language with precise meaning and then piecing them together using logic and rational thinking is the way forward. And it is. I myself I have a master in physics, and I've been working as a programmer and made a living on being very, very rational. And the thing is, I also realized the blind spots of the language of mathematics and the language of logics and rational thinking. And the blind spot is really that well, there's a saying in computer programming that garbage in, garbage out. And I'm not saying that the discussion now is in any way containing garbage, but what that statement stands for is that using the logical language and the rational language, you can only reason with what you get. And the truth you get from rational thinking or logical language or programming, the truth you can get is only the truth that lies within the things you're talking about. And for logic to work, you have to assume that something that is not true must be false. And for that to hold, you must have gathered all the pieces that covers the truth you're after. If there are pieces missing, then that piece could contain the truth that made the false statement true, if you get what I mean. It's like there's a programming language called Prolog, and it's a quite interesting language because what it's made up is that you state a long list of predicates that states what's true and what's false, and then it uses those predicates, and you can program by stating a question, and then it will use the magic of logic and come up with a truth statement or a false statement. And the thing they found when using this Prolog language is that it was very easy to make programs that made false claims, because it was based on the fact that everything you put in there that you tell the program to be true, it will also assume that if it's not in there, then it's false. And that is a blind spot. And here's what I think Jordan Peterson comes in, because his claim is that there is knowledge that is not expressed in rational and logical facts, because they emerge from thousands and even millions of years of iterating and acting out truth claims, both conscious and unconscious, and that we have kept these truth in the form of stories, and that's what's missing. You have to find some way of picking out you have to formulate, either if you want to use them in rational thinking and use applied logic to them, you have to formulate and extract this knowledge from these stories and state them in this logic language. And it may be a while before we can do that, because it could very well be that the claim that Jordan Peterson is making, that the truth in these stories however good or bad they are expressed, we don't understand what the truth claims are. The only thing we do know is that these stories is about acting out and making decisions based on the content of these stories. And I think you have to be, even as a rational thinker, you must be open to the possibility that there is something more to add to rational thinking to get to the perhaps better conclusions. Now, I think Jordan B. Peterson has a job to do to, at least it's my impression that he talks a lot about what things are not. He likes to, sometimes he expresses himself in using, what's the English word? He talks about things that are not, and he expresses what he thinks in terms of telling that you must be a fool if you think that that's not important. And he makes that kind of statements. And what Jordan B. Peterson must understand, that in rational thinking, the problem is if you state what you don't think and what's not true and what you don't talk about and what you don't stand for doesn't specify what you actually stand for. So although I think I understand what Jordan B. Peterson is trying to say, and it rings true to me, I think we who think that must be perhaps trying to contribute with our own way of putting forward this message. So that's what I'm trying to do now with this many words. So let's see how it goes. So I think an interesting way of understanding the difference of where Jordan B. Peterson and Sam Harris is coming from is, one way of looking at it is to say that Sam Harris is talking about facts and truth that are distributed in space, that is, it's true now. So with that I mean a fact and a truth claim that Sam Harris talks about, and which science talks about, is that if you do this, then this happens, and you can do it now, and you can check it, and you can tell if it's true or false. While Jordan B. Peterson is talking about truth that is true over time. So it's a truth distributed over time. And I actually think it's good that Jordan B. Peterson sticks on to the word truth. And my proposal would be that there could be that truth distributed over time and truth distributed in space, as things being true here and now can be two different things, or they can coexist. So, because I think it all comes down to what what a valuable truth actually is. Why are we so obsessed with truth? I mean, truth is something we just take for granted as being good, and no one is trying to take the stand that no, we can just make up a lie, and as long as everyone believes me, we can just put that lie out. And I don't think anyone does that claim consciously. I think we do it unconsciously. We lie all the time because we stick to, we build a story, or we tell ourselves what we think is true, and when we are challenged, then perhaps we lie about what we believe to be true, and so I think the truth we're seeking is the truth that if we act out that truth, if we want truth that is a model about reality that enables us to interact with reality and improve our living in a way. So as long as we can believe something to be true and then base our actions on that truth, and then see that the outcome of acting out that truth actually enhance our lives and kind of works or flies, the truth that fly, or whatever you call it, that's the truth we are looking for. So even if we can make truth claims about simple stuff, that like I can say, okay, it's true that I'm wearing a red sweater here. Well, it's true, but I mean, who cares? The truth you that watch this video is looking for, and the truth that I'm seeking, is of course the truth that I can base my life decisions on. Why do I live where I live? Why do I have the friends I have? Why do I vote for the political parties that I vote for? Why do I have the job that I have? Why do I try to get money? All these things that we need to, all these decisions we need to make a living in the society and together with others. And therein lies the importance of that there is a difference between what's true today as in facts and what's true over time. And I think that Jordan B. Peterson needs to be, or we can perhaps help him to express this in a better way. So saying things like, well, truth is what survives, is logically correct. And if you accept that there could be another truth than the truth distributed in space, as in now fact, then you buy that kind of explanation. But maybe we need to find some other way of phrasing that kind of truth, the truth that if you act according to a truth and it will kill you, or it will not survive, and it will, or rather maybe the truth survives but you won't and your surrounding won't. And well, it's complicated. I mean, there could of course be truth that wipes out the human society, but the truth lives on. And an example of such a truth could be the truth about artificial intelligence and silicon-based machines. So in 1,000 years, these AIs and the silicon-based life looks back and remembers the human race as the race that the biological life that created them, and they are happy for that, but we are not around anymore. That could be a truth. It's not a truth that's good for human society, but still, if that truth survives in the case that it is still a base for action for the artificial intelligence and the silicon-based life, then that's a better truth than the one we have. So anyhow, I digress. So my proposal still, I think, is that we have to realize that rational thinking has blind spots, that you have to feed it with a complete map of it must map everything you want to find, and then you can use rational thinking to find it on that map. But if there are blind spots on that map, then rational thinking won't get you there, and our ability to also feel and see patterns unconsciously in ways we are just starting to discover, and that kind of patterns and truth are in stories is also valuable, and we must try to extract that. And my second claim is that we can then say that logical or rational truth is truth distributed in space, that meaning it's true at any specific moment, while there is also a truth distributed in time that can be another truth. And I'm kind of leaning to Jordan B. Peterson here and saying that that kind of truth is actually the truth at any given moment. Truth distributed in space is nested within the truth that survives over time. And another argument for that truth distributed over time is something else, or is nests truths at any given moment, is that the truth distributed over time can take into account emergence. So things that the outcome of a large population like the human society acting according to a set of truth, what can emerge from that can be something totally different than the stuff we're actually aiming at. And truth over time can take that into account. So although we don't understand why the stories told over centuries and the feelings we have about how we should react in different situations, it could still be that the way we feel to act and the way the stories are told has evolved to cope with emergent phenomena. And maybe that's what the things we call religion, the religions we have and we talk about as religions in language, are in fact stories about truth that cope with this emergent phenomena like revolutions and doing right stuff so you don't get hunger crisis, and treat yourself so that you don't create wars, and all these kind of things that can happen, that can emerge, although your intention is not for them to emerge. So this is my first video, and it's just an experiment. It's very hard to think out loud and be short and to the point and perhaps if I do this more often, I can formulate my thinking better. But well, if you, like I, follow Jordan B. Peterson and Sam Harris and Brett Weinstein and this intellectual dark web and try to make sense of the Me Too movement and the radical left and the left and right struggle and identity politics and of course environmental problems and the threats of the future, and trying to make sense of Trump and North Korea and yeah, then you are interested in the things that I'm interested in, and you are thinking about this stuff, and so let's see if I make more of these videos. So if you watched this far and you found me to be trying to be honest and trying to put forward some ideas here that you find interesting, then well, please leave a comment or make your own video, or just take another cup of coffee and relax and continue to think your own thoughts about what's going on, and let's at least join in the search for some way of making sense and finding truth that we can base actions to go forward in this chaotic reality we seem to have created for us. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.
If you like my videos, feel free to do nothing.
Just grab a cup of coffee
and enjoy.